Good evening, ma'am, and good evening, everyone. So, as a part of our NetSet guidance lecture, we are here gathered, and the topic which ma'am is going to cover today is about communication. And Miss Zeel Barad, she is an alumni of our department, and she is also pursuing her PhD over here from our university, and currently she is working as an assistant professor at Silver Oak University, and we are delighted to have her here to guide us for our future preparation of the exams. So we warmly welcome you, ma'am, and over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the welcome. So, for today's NetSet guidance lecture, our topic is from the paper number one, and we will be dealing with the unit communication. So, I'm sharing my screen. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, so beginning with, I hope everyone might have gone through the syllabus of UGC NET, which is similar to the syllabus of the SET. And here is a syllabus content of unit communication, which briefly states that in this unit, the questions will be dealing with part of communication, its meaning, its type, its characteristics. What is effective communication? Its types, which are verbal, non-verbal, intercultural, group communication, and classroom communication. Barriers of effective communication, mass media, and society. These are the brief points which are given in the syllabus. But if we go through the PYQs of this topic, we realize that there are various questions which go beyond this, which are majorly based on our understanding of the topic, which is more than remembrance of this topic. So, beginning with, we will be going, so the route we will be following is we will be briefly going through the minor content, that is definition, types, model, barriers, effective communication. We will be in between solving various PYQs that if this is the content, this type of questions are asked. By the end of the session, you will get one scanner to scan for the quiz. The quiz have number of questions, and all the questions are the PYQs. Major questions are from the NET paper from year 2022 to previous exam of June 2025, and several questions from the GSET paper, which rules from 2016 to last year 2024. So quiz inculcates the questions of last few years question paper related to communication, right? So beginning with, what definition of communication? The major thing one needs to understand in the definition is communication is sharing of knowledge, information, and idea, and creating an understanding in the opposite person, in the listener. Basically, communication is not only about speaking, not only about talking, it is more about understanding, and it is a process of exchanging information between individuals or groups, right? The word communication has been came from the Latin verb communicare, which means to share. So we are sharing something, that is knowledge, information, or idea, which the one who gives or shares is the sender, and the one who receives is the receiver. This is a brief understanding of what is communication. This is the process of communication. This topic is asked under various titles, which is elements of communication, steps of communication, The other question asked from this process are role of receiver or role of sender, what is encoding, what is decoding, and components of communication. If we see the communication is also connected to teaching aptitude in the title of classroom communication, right? It is also connected to mass media, a journalism part. In UGC NET exams, the major question comes from mass media part, mass media and society. Recently, we have seen various questions in the exam related to movies, box office, which is a part directly or indirectly of mass media and communication, right? So we cannot say that those questions are out of syllabus. But as the syllabus mentions, mass media. Okay, coming back to process of communication, in brief, in summary, it has five elements: sender, medium, channel, channel and medium are the same thing, receiver, and feedback. And in between, noise, which in this image can be seen in the green part, right? So, sender is the one who encodes the message. Encoding is his idea or thought is given words, that is encoding. He or she encodes the message, is giving the message through medium or channel, right? Channel or medium is a pathway of way, as I am sharing knowledge through a medium, through YouTube. I'm using SlideShare. I am speaking, right? I'm having a presentation. So our medium currently is presentation, internet, YouTube. A receiver decodes the message, as in a WhatsApp or on the platforms we see message is encrypted. It is encoded, encrypted, and decoded. So the message is encoded, sent, and then decoded. The receiver understands the message, which means decoding, right? Then, in between, if there is a noise or disturbance or any issue while receiving the message by receiver, then that is noise, that is barrier, that is disturbance. And after receiving the message, the receiver sends some response, okay, I got it, or any emoji in technical communication, or some verbal cues like okay, fine, or an answer to the message, then that is feedback. So here you can see the components or steps which also defines that sender originates the message. Message is an information, idea, or thought to be conveyed. Encoding is converting message. Channel is pathway. Receiver is the targeted person or the audience. Decoding is interpreting or understanding. Feedback is a response to the message, and noise is any interference that distorts the message. So this is one question from the GSET paper that you can answer this question in the chat of YouTube. I also have the YouTube open. I'm seeing in that. So if you are in YouTube, if the viewers are watching this currently in the YouTube, you can answer. In the process of communication, the receiver, what does the receiver do? Number one, encodes the message. Number two, decodes the message. Receiver is the channel, or receiver has no role. And if the viewers are there in the classroom, you can note it down in the books.
B. Decodes the message.
Yes, correct. Decodes the message. If you go in the GSET paper, they are asking you the direct questions. It gets easier in comparison to NET. So this is the question from GSET paper. Moving further, in communication, there are three models. Like communication has developed, models have evolved. This is one of the model, which is the process of communication, which we are basically learning or understanding what is communication. There are three models. That is linear or transmission model. I hope you can see the chart. Interactive model or turn taking model, uh, and the third one, transactional model, right? Linear model is there is no feedback, only one way, I am saying, and no response, right? Interactive model is The receiver and the sender are taking turn one by one. One is speaking, other is waiting for the turn for the response. Transactional model is receiver and sender are playing an important role. Sender is asking, receiver is answering, then receiver is asking. That communication is not possible without the involvement of sender and receiver. That is transactional model, right? Linear model, transmission model was introduced or given by four people. Laswell's model, Aristotle's model, Shannon-Weaver model, and Berlow's SCMR model. The major thing to remember here is linear model or a transmission model is one way. There is no feedback, right? There are no direct questions asked from these models, but sometimes in the options or sometimes in the question, this type of terms are used. So if we are clear with these terms, we can do odd one out method, or we get an idea that what they are trying to ask. If a word interactive is used, then you can clearly get an idea that receiver and sender are present and they are taking turn one by one. Alternating rules are there, right? Briefly going through the models, number one is Laswell's model, where he focused that who says what, in which channel, to whom, with what effect. What, कौन कह रहा है, क्या कह रहा है, कैसे कह रहा है और किसको कह रहा है और वो कहने से क्या हुआ. That was the main point of this model. And the parts, elements were sender, message, channel, receiver, effect. What is the impact of the message? That was the main point in Laswell's model. I will be sharing you the slides uh, before tomorrow. By tomorrow, you will get the slides so you can read in detail. Next is Aristotle model. Here, Aristotle focused on the persuasion. Persuasion is what is the effect, how is effect built up, which will be carried or is followed in mass media communication. Persuasion through ethos, that is credibility, pathos through emotions, and through logos. If we want to persuade something which is one of the objective of communication, to persuade someone, then how can you persuade? By attacking on their credibility or giving your message with credibility, focusing on their emotions and their logic. It was mainly designed for public speaking, and the components are speaker, speech, and audience. Next is Shannon Weaver model, where the focus was transmission of message with clarity and accuracy. That message should reach properly without any disturbance, right? So it is majorly used in mass communication, technical communication, and organizational communication. And you can see the image also. The feature was the noise, the idea of noise, disturbance in the process was introduced in this model. If you go through PYQs somewhere, you will find some questions regarding to this model, that is Shannon Weaver model. Okay. The last one, Berlow's SMCR model, which is source, message, channel, and receiver. How the message was sent, who sent, what are the skills that was used, how was the message sent, through which channel it was sent, and how did the receiver receive it. This was the main thing. Emphasis was on the role of communication skills, right? So we see that in all three models, there was no idea of feedback. So these are linear model of communication. Next, interactive model. In this, there are two-way process with feedback. Feedback was introduced when interactive model came. Components for sender, receiver, noise. It is cyclical nature and it is majorly used in classroom teaching, group discussion, and interpersonal communication. Right? So in classroom, we see when faculty is speaking, students are listening, they create their understanding, then they are given a chance to ask or share their understanding, then they speak, then teacher waits for his or her turn, then they speak and they share they give their feedback. And so turn by turn communication is happening. And the last one, transactional model, which is simultaneous process. Messages are sent on the same time. Feedback is immediate and continuous. There is noise. Emphasis emphasizes shared meaning and relationship building. It is simultaneous process, not step by step. There is active participation. It is majorly done in face-to-face conversation, teamwork, counseling, and daily interpersonal communication. If we see in our personal life, we can see when we are talking to our friends, we don't wait for the opposite person to complete what they are trying to say. We we speak in the between and try to keep our point. That is transactional model. Clear? I hope I will be sharing with the content. It might be new to you, this models. Okay. So one more question. Identify the correct sequence of the elements of communication system. So here you see the D option is effect. If we only read process of communication, or we remember process of communication, the first one which we saw, then we won't understand that what is effect, and it might create a problem in answering. So if you have understood all the terms from the model, all the models, then the answering will be easier for you. So you can go through the question. If in the YouTube, you can answer in the chat. If in the class, you can go through, you read, and if you feel you are not understanding, you can ask also. So option A is speech, option B is speaker, C is receiver, D is effect. Yes, someone was answering.
A, B, A, C, D.
B,
Option A,
A,
ma'am.
C, D. Yes. Okay. Speaker, speech, receiver, and effect. Good. One more. This question is also from the GSET PYQs. Okay. Now going towards types of communication. The communication is divided in variety of ways. It depends on the understanding that how you are defining or how you are understanding. This chart I have created based on my understanding through variety of sources. So we will be going through that also. Beginning with types of communication, number one is intrapersonal communication. Intrapersonal communication is talking to self. Self talk, अपने आप से बात करना. If you are journaling, if you are writing a daily diary, if you are planning with yourself, deciding something for yourself, then that is intrapersonal. You are the only one person, receiver and the sender. Interpersonal is talking outside self. मतलब there are more than two to three people, more than one person, that is two or more people involved in this communication. Interaction happens between two people or more people, and it can be formal or informal. Impersonal communication is short and everyday exchanges, which is our small talks. Hi, how are you? What have you been doing? How was your day? That is impersonal communication. Formal communication is communication which happens in a structured way, which follows hierarchy. In a way, you have some problem, you ask to your teaching faculty, then it goes to HOD, then more problem, that there is one more issue, then it goes to higher authorities for the permission. Then any messages, any circular comes, they comes in a hierarchy with a signature. That is formal communication. Informal communication is casual communication which happens between the colleagues of same hierarchy. There is no official documentation of those talks. That is informal communication. One word which you will see is grapevine communication. Grapevine communication is informal communication in formal setup. For example, in the office, which is in a workplace which has a structured way of working, right? There, if colleagues got some news and they are sharing with each other, there is no proper pathway of news being official news being shared, then that is grapevine communication, and it is one of the major source of rumors, right? There is informal and grapevine. Next is contagious communication. Contagious communication is direct, face to face between sender and receiver. Non contagious communication is indirect communication without any contact. So, currently, if anyone is watching my lecture on YouTube, then we don't have a direct communication. It is indirect communication, non contagious communication. While the students who are sitting in the classroom and listening to my lecture, we have a direct communication. Those who have joined through StreamYard, we have one medium, right? Sorry, contagious communication. And direct communication is immediate interaction without medium, that is face to face. Contagious is we are using a medium, we are through StreamYard, connected through internet, while direct communication is if I am coming physically to your classroom and we are without any medium. And mediated communication is through a medium, newspaper or social media, which we are having currently, right? So last of the 4 to 5 communications are definitely confusing one. But the major questions which are asked in the GSET are based on intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, formal communication, informal communication. The other, if you have little bit clarity of other communication types, it will help you to solve your questions with odd one out. Now, types of communication, which I have personally divided based on 3 ways: based on communication channel, based on purpose and style, and based on direction. Through channel means verbal, non verbal, and visual. Verbal means where words are used. Communication where words are used, language is used, whether it is WhatsApp message or email. But we have used words, so that is verbal. It can be oral or it can be written. I am using words to speak, so it is verbal communication. Non-verbal communication are divided into major 5 types. This is one of the question topic from which every year GSET is asking a question, which is types of non-verbal communication. They ask in the fill in the blank or match the following, but this is asked. Types of nonverbal communication: kinesics, proxemics, haptics, chronemics, and paralinguistics. These are the types of nonverbal communication. Number one is kinesics, which deals with the use of body movement. When we are talking, and sometimes we use actions, and in a lecture, our hands or our our body movement is continuously happening. That is kinesics. जब हम किसी को इशारा करते हैं and people try to understand, the body movement is a part of communication. Second is proxemics, where there is a use of space. Based on the space between the sender and the receiver, we can identify the bond between them, the relationship between them. Haptics is communication through touching. So if you are a child, someone pats on your back. Wait, 1 minute. This interference. Continuing with the types of communication, I'm resharing my screen. Okay, sorry for this disturbance. Okay, continuing with haptics. Sometimes in the appreciation, we pat the back of our classmates or our friends or our siblings, or sometimes we just show love through our care and love through our touch towards their head or to the cheek. That is haptics. Other one is chronemics, that is study of time. We be punctual at certain place. Being punctual shows our seriousness towards that particular work. That is chronemics, and how we use time. Sometimes at certain place we always get late, which shows that we are not serious or we are not interested to the particular work, right? And the last one is paralinguistics. Paralinguistic deals with the pitch, the tone, your sound modulation when you are speaking. When we speak, our tone goes up, down, which is paralinguistics, right? And visual communication is our reading of signs, our reading of symbols. If we go through the road, there are certain symbols that you cannot take U-turn, or you can take U-turn. Through the signs and symbols, we get to know what to act and how to act. That is visual communication. Next is formal and informal. Formal, as we discussed, when the communication happens in a structured form in an organization, is formal. In unstructured form, that is informal, based on direction. One way, two way, multi way. One way is the sender is sending the message, just receiver is receiving the message. There is no feedback. Communication is happening in one way, that is one way. When both sender and receiver are being a part of communication, then both are answering or communicating or discussing, that is two way. And multi way is when there are two three groups or two three people, all of them giving their inputs, then it is multi way communication. As we saw in formal communication, you can see in the chart, that is horizontal, vertical, upward, downward, diagonal. These are types of formal communication, or flow of information, or flow of communication, right? Uh, these questions are also asked in GSET from this topic. I have seen in the PYQs, there are many questions from this topic. That is, horizontal communication is when communication is happening between the people of same hierarchy. Like, head of the department is talking to the head of the department of other department, that is horizontal communication. You can see in the image, red color arrow is identifying, indicating horizontal communication. Vertical communication is when communication is happening between the people of different rank, that is from upward to downward, right? So president, you can see through the image, sorry, yellow color, indication of yellow color arrows in the image, from president to manager, manager to supervisors, and supervisors to then sales staff, right? Upward communication is when information is shared from downward to upward. Then a downward communication is from superior to subordinates. The terms used in the slide are the terms which are used in the question. That is subordinate to superior, superiors to subordinate. And in diagonal communication is across the department. People of different rank in two different departments, right? If a head of the department of English department is talking to assistant professor of economics department, then that is diagonal communication. Clear? Okay, here is one of the question. Proxemics. Proximus is a use of space, kinesics is a body language, and haptics is use of touch. This is the way the non-verbal communication types is asked. And from last 5 to 6 years, this question is coming. If you have seen the PYQs of GSET. Okay. So what is objective of question communication? Communication. Why we do communication? To spread awareness, to impart knowledge, कुछ बताने के लिए, shaping attitude, stimulated desire, effecting outcome, good decision making, maintaining workflow, developing relationship, educational requirements for counseling and for moral development. What is the use of communication? Then categories of communication. Communication is written. I have some of the things are repeating, but they are under different titles. I have given them under different titles because same answer. Sometimes questions are same, but they are changing the term, which confuses us when we are answering the MCQs. Written, verbal, non-verbal, intercultural, group, mass, and public. Intercultural is when two people are talking and they are of different cultures. Their cultural background is different. The difference between group communication and mass communication and public communication. Group communication is debate, seminar, conferences where The people have gathered and there is a conversation between the decided people, that is group communication. Mass communication is uh, the communication or idea addressed to the large audiences, but the sender is not physically present there. As interviews in TV, they have recorded and then they are sharing to us. And that can be watched again and again. That is mass communication. And public communication is it is when the sender is physically present in between the large audience. So that you should know, have a clear difference between mass and public communication. Okay, classroom communication, which connects to the teaching aptitude. So, classroom communication should be two-way communication. There is sharing of knowledge, there is feedback. It has interaction between teacher and student. Teacher plays a multiple role, which is facilitator, mentor, motivator, and guide. And there is feedback for the continuous improvement. Classroom communication can be effective if you are clear and you have decided what to say, when to say. You keep it short and simple. You use pause, humor, empathy, equity, encourage questions and participation, motivate students, respect them, plan activities, reinforce learning, do not tolerate any bad behavior, and maintain fairness. It is not necessary that your options will have these 8 points. You need to create an understanding regarding this. Same idea with different words, same idea with different language can be a part of your options in the question. As this one question is, this is PYQ of UGC NET. Given the following components of communication, which combination represents classroom communication best? Individual to individual, individual to group, group to individual, group to group. I would like to have an answer of this question. Which is best form of communication? Yes, yes, answer. So option is first and second, second and fourth, one, two, three, or third and fourth. This is
Option C,
confusing,
ma'am.
right? Option C, one, two, three. But the answer key shows this was the answer which even I answered in the exam. The answer key shows the answer is second and fourth. That is individual to group and group to group. This is how NET confuses us. The reason is in the classroom, individual is the sender, a teacher, and he or she is talking to the group of students, right? And if we go for individual to individual, then that is not a good classroom practice where for where the teacher where the teacher is only focusing on the one individual student, right? Then group to individual is not a good option, because if more than one person or more than two-person, a group is talking to one person, that is a teacher, we are considering individual to be a teacher. So many people are talking to one person, then individual one, then the teacher is not understanding anything. So many people at a time, if they are speaking, it will be difficult for the individual to understand. And group to group is a correct one, because one of the correct answer, because it converts into a discussion, debates, or classroom activities. So the best combination for the classroom communication is individual to group and group to group communication, right? So UGC net questions becomes difficult because it focuses on the understanding rather than the direct questions. Okay, so for the what is effective communication? That the whatever message is sent by the sender is received by the receiver with the same understanding. जो कहना चाह रहे हैं वही चीज उनको समझ आए. And for that, 7 C's of communication and 4S of communication is necessary. 7 C's are completeness, conciseness, concreteness, correctness, consideration, clarity, and courtesy. we want to go in detail. We will be facing time constraint after that. Then 4S are shortness, simplicity, strength, and sincerity. So if a sender wants to send a message with clarity and he wants a meaningful exchange of message, he or she should follow or can follow this points, that is 7 C's and 4 S, right? Here is one question from the barrier of communication. What is the cause of semantic barrier in communication? So for the very first time, that if we have not prepared and this question comes, then and if we don't know the meaning of semantic barrier, then definitely we will face the issue. So if anyone there to answer cause of semantic barrier. Though as we are learning literature and our criticism also has some words like semantic, rhetorical structures, which are also the part of communication. Perhaps you can answer this. Okay, so in YouTube I'm getting answer 3.
C.
Yes, option C. That 1, 3, and 4. That is poorly expressed message, unnatural assumption, and lack of attention. Okay, let's see. Going through the topic. Okay, so there are basically barriers of communication is an obstacle that distort or block the effective exchange of message. हम जो कहना चाह रहे हो वो पूरी तरह से रिसीवर तक नहीं पहुंच पा रहा है कुछ चीजों की वजह से, क्रिएटिंग ऑब्स्टेकल दैट आर बैरियर्स ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. द वन विच आर हाईलाइटेड इन द पर्पल आर मेजरली आस्क्ड in UGC, in GSET. So I have highlighted that those are technical barriers, semantic barriers, cultural barriers, right? Technical barriers is problem in technology, lack of knowledge of technology, or some outside voice. Physical barrier is distance, environment, not able to read, that is not bad handwritings, or the tools used are outdated, right? Semantic barrier is misinterpretation of language, grammar, and vocabulary. हम लैंग्वेज नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं, ग्रामर नहीं समझ पा रहे, then that is semantic barrier. Organizational barrier is hierarchy, policies, routines, blocking free time. Psychological is emotions, attitudes. Sometimes we are not in a mood to understand. We are angry. We don't understand. We are the idea what is given by receiver. Social is status, rank, skill, income. Cultural barrier, as we saw, there is cultural background, there is different language, different traditions, beliefs are different. Physio- Physiological barrier means someone is not able to hear, someone has a vision impairment, someone is having speech impairment, that is physiological barriers. Perceptual barriers is different way of understanding or interpreting the message. And attitude barrier is personal views, morals, and this is the way I behave and I cannot believe in your idea. That is attitude barriers, right? So now going back to the last question. As we see, semantic barrier is misinterpretation of language, grammar, and vocabulary. Then, now what is the answer? Same, C option. 134. So I think 3 cannot be the option because unnatural assumption. In assumption, there is no grammar, no language. That is what we are assuming. That can be the part of perceptual barrier, right? So poorly expressed message can be the one. If technical language is used, like being a literature student, if we go into the sessions of computer or engineering class, definitely we will face difficulties because they are using technical language. So 1 and 2 are final. Third option is not the answer, is final. So A, B, and C is having option number 3. So we can go with the D, right? So Kushi Goswami perhaps changed the answer from D to C. So I think, I hope it is clear what I'm telling. why unnatural assumption cannot be the part of answer in the semantic barrier? Because it is perception. That is how you interpret and how you assume the particular message, right? Okay. So we are jumping through this question. Okay. Now beginning with context of communication. Okay. Context is what is the background or situation in which communication is taking place? What is the time? What is the place? What is the mood when anything is shared? Something shared in a conference hall is formal and polite and is taken with educational information, while same thing is said in the birthday party, that is casual and informal, and it is not taken by the receiver in a way it should be taken. So if you are saying sharing something from your past experiences or your personal experiences which is guiding your present communication, then that is historical context, right? If you are sharing something from your culture, your belief, or your tradition, then that is from cultural context. If you are sharing something, interacting in classroom, if you are interacting in classroom and sharing some educational information, then definitely students are understanding that idea. If you are meeting in a DJ night, in a DJ party, or in a birthday party, and someone starts the classroom communication or faculty starts teaching in the birthday party, students will definitely not pay attention because the physical atmosphere or background is not proper for giving that particular information. Right? This is a brief topic so that you can have an idea regarding this. Okay. This is one question from net, that a culture which is not touched by communication of alphabetic writing is known as culture of. So if you don't read this question properly, you will be confused, and none of the topic of communication syllabus or content or any book has this answer or this topic in it. It is completely based on your understanding. Not touched by communication of alphabetic writing. I'm waiting for the answer even in the YouTube or from the class. You can read the options, read it with peace.
Four.
Yes.
Four.
Yes, fourth. Yes. So if you see typography means it deals with something like typing. For typing we need word. Literacy, that is knowledge, and oral language. The fourth option is primary orality. It is oral language. So there is no writing part, right? Okay. So now going towards mass media and communication. Mass media is a form of communication which reaches and influences to the large number of people at the same time through different mediums. There are different mediums. There is TV, newspaper, magazines, books, radio, film, right? Social media, reels, YouTube. All these are medium of mass media. There are types of media in this slide, and the importance of mass media is shaping public opinion, to spread awareness, to preserve our culture, and drive social change. Right? That is mass media. It is a brief history of mass media in India. I have not seen any PYQ regarding this, any theoretical knowledge regarding this, but yet we can go through it. So because we don't have any idea what net might ask anytime. So this is a brief history. Okay, this is one of the question, that which of the following, this is the question from net, which of the following social sciences have contributed much to the knowledge of mass communication? So it is from the topic of communication, but mass communication, and we don't have much of the content or videos which is teaching all these things. So best way to learn any topic is using PYQs. Okay, so I'm waiting for the answer. Which social science have contributed in the knowledge of mass communication? You can use odd one out here from the option. Yes, In chats we have few of the answers, and those are correct. Okay, so the definitely defense studies want to contribute to the mass communication, knowledge of mass communication. Even medicine want to be contributing into the knowledge of mass communication, right? Psychology and sociology. Sociology is regarding society and people. Psychology is persuasion, attitude, audience behavior, and anthropology deals with culture, symbols, and rituals. So these three socials and the A, B, C contributes in the mass communication, right? Okay. Now, what is the function of mass communication? Why mass communication is important? For information sharing, for communication, for entertainment purpose, for persuasion, for surveillance, for cultural transmission, for correlation and interpretation. If you will go through the quiz, I request to go through the quiz where you will find one question with the term correlation, right? So these are the functions of mass communication. This again one more question from GSET. What are the functions of mass communication? Surveillance, correction, feedback, and entertainment. Yes, we have answer in YouTube chat. That is, I don't think that is regarding this question. Okay.
Option B.
Functions of option D, 1, 2, and 4. Yes. Surveillance, correction, and entertainment. You can see that in mass communication, its function is not feedback, and we can directly remove feedback, and automatically ABC is out. So, D option. Okay. Now we are left with few minor topics which are basically based on the PYQs, directly from the PYQs. Number one is hot and cool media. If anyone has already attempted UGC NET, or if someone is preparing by PYQs, this question or this type of terms you might have came through, that is hot and cool media. McLuhan has given an idea, that is medium shapes our perception. That is, the medium is the message. This statement you might have come through in cultural studies also. That is, the medium is the message. Through which medium you are giving your message, that also shapes the perception of the communication, information, what you are sharing, that how a person thinks. If something is shared just in vague topic or just talking through it, no one will take it seriously. But something is shared with facts, something is shared with proper proof and information, it might be taken seriously. That is where medium matters. So it is hot and cool media. Hot media is which has high definition, where only your single sense is engaged. There is minimal audience participation, and viewers can passively absorb information. Receivers are not active while receiving, they are passively receiving. For example, print, that is newspaper or photography or recorded radios, films, lectures, all those things, right? Where only single sense, either you are listening, either you are hearing, only single sense is engaged in the communication, then that is hot media. Cool media has low deficiency. It actively audience are actively in participated. There is higher participation, for example in television, on Netflix, or in watching series, in seminars, in comics, then that is cool media. More people, more than one sense engaged, then that is cool media. Less people participation, participants are passive and one sense is involved or engaged, then that is hot media, right? It is complicated. You need to read and hear about it more and more. You will get clarification regarding this, right? Moving forward, characteristics of mass communication or fundamental features of mass communication. It has mass audience. It addresses to the large people. It has heterogeneous population. Heterogeneous is variety of people. Message is delivered through a channel. It is a one-way process. The message is shared with everyone. It is not personalized. Speed, it has a good speed. Information is spreaded quickly to the wide areas, even globally. It has pre-planning and it has structure. It has simultaneous delivery. Same message reaches to many people at the same time. If now, as this lecture will be is live streamed and will stay on the YouTube. Currently, many of them are watching, and it will stay there. It will be one way. Then there will be no communication between me and the viewers or the receivers, and we will not even have an idea how many people are watching same time to the same message, and it might influence any message in mass communication influences to the people, shapes its opinions and attitude. If ever you get confused what is mass communication, then you can directly connect it with the news channels or any of the interviews, or how newspaper works and how it is affecting you, right? Okay, we are jumping to this question, and that is codes of reception. This is also from the PYQs. It was given by Stuart Hall in his book of Encoding and Decoding, where he says that there are three codes of reception from the how the receiver receives the message. One is dominant, other is negotiated, and third one is oppositional. Dominant one is when sender is dominant and audience accepts whatever is told in the message. Negotiated is when sender is telling someone, audience is not completely accepting the message but partly they are negotiating, this can be, this cannot be, right? And oppositional is any message or any information given is completely rejected or resisted by the audience, right? This is the same question which was asked in UGC net. What are the codes of reception in communication? That is dominant, negotiated and oppositional, right? Okay. One more question from the PYQ is mediated persuasion. Mediated persuasion is mass media is trying to influence people through the use of TV, newspaper, advertisement, film, online platforms. Instead of face to face communication, there is no face to face communication, but some media is used to influence and convince people. That is mediated persuasion. And it how it is happening, then what are the factors or characteristics? Then it is credibility, attractiveness, authority, the factors of the message, audience factors, channels and mediums, right? And this is important factors in communication is framing, priming and mediacy. Framing is how information is presented. Priming is preparing the audience mind, right? Yeah, what is to be said is first, your mind is designed to think in particular way, and then you are given that information so that you can think from that perspective. Immediacy is which refers to the sense of closeness, warmth and direct connection. If someone, a speaker and audience are meeting regularly and they have some rapport between them, the message will be accepted in a better way. So these are the important factors of communication. And so last one is synchronous and asynchronous audience. Which is also from the reception, the person who is listening, receiver's point of view. When the audience is present physically in front of you at the same time, then that is synchronous audience, which is real time communication like classroom teaching. Asynchronous audience is message is received by the audience at different time, and there can be delayed feedback. As we share a video will be heard or seen by different people at different time, and there won't be any feedback. That is synchronous and asynchronous audience, right? Okay. This is one question in communication. What are rhetorical structures? Rhetorical structures are the shapes or patterns of stories or message, right? How the message is said. What is the pattern? How a story is said. What is the pattern? So, what are the structure? The answer is we are not, as we are exceeding the time then. So, in brief, form, genre, and narrative. This is a question from communication unit, but you see it has some of the relation to literature part also. That what are the rhetorical structure of the message which we have been learning, form of our literary work, genre of our literary work, and narrative of our literary work. So every unit is interconnected when you are focusing on UGC net. Okay, so this is the rhetorical structure in communication and detail from Aristotle. It is a idea of Aristotle, then it is in classical, then in organization, and in modern. In modern rhetorical structures, strategies, we have framing, and Aristotle has given ethos, pathos, and logos, which we have already learned in our critical part of literature, and which is connected here in communication. So, rhetoric is an art of effective communication and persuasion, which was given by Aristotle, right? Okay, so this is where I end my session based on communication. This is the scanner for the quiz. I request everyone to scan the scanner so you can get the quiz. You can attempt the quiz currently if you wish to. I'm also sharing the link of the quiz in YouTube chat. Also shared the form link in the YouTube chat, but in chat it won't be clickable. So you have to scan this. Okay, so for with this quiz, I complete my discussion on communication. With this quiz has all the questions, majorly all the PYQs from set and net, right? Okay, so completing it with if you are preparing before the UGC net and set, primarily focus on the PYQs, solve the previous year's paper, which will help you to identify what are the major topics you need to
Thank you,
learn.
ma'am. For the feedback, I would like to invite Nidhi Pandya to share her thoughts.
First of all, thank you, madam, for your valuable time. I wish to extend my sincere gratitude on the behalf of the Department of English, MK Bhavnagar University. The points you have expressed in your session and your systematic approaches, like communication theories and models and types and its meaning within the quiz, that is very interesting and leading to the inspiration for the NET and SET examination. Thank you for such a valuable guidance. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Now, I would like to invite Priya Rathod for her feedback.
So, on behalf of Department of English, thank you, Jill ma'am, for delivering such an insightful and engaging lecture on communication as a part of our NetSet preparation series. Your clear explanation of such topics like meaning and definition of communication, as well as types and models and barriers of communication and techniques of communications with effective examples and previous years questions that made the topic more easier to understand. We truly appreciate the way you highlighted the important topics, as well as exam-oriented tips. Your lectures has boosted our confidence and enhanced our understanding of on communication as a key area of NetSet. So thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Now, I would like to invite Kruti Vyas for her vote of thanks.
I sincerely thank you, ma'am, for your precious time, inspiring guidance in the NetSet series. And your motivating words have truly enriched our understanding and strengthened our confidence for the journey ahead. And as it is often said, a great teacher inspire hope, ignite imagination, and instill a love for learning. So today you have done just that for us. And we deeply value your presence and the wisdom you shared, and we look forward to many enlightening sessions with you in your future. So once again, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you everyone. And I would like to thank. Yes, you can. Or should I?
No, please continue.
Okay, thank you. I would like to thank the Department of English, head of the department, Prakruti Ma'am, Megha Ma'am, for giving me this opportunity. I would be always ready to help with the students for the preparation. Even I am in this journey for the net, so even I am preparing, I will also help you how to prepare. Right, little more experienced in how to prepare in comparison to. I would like to say that please attempt the quiz. As if you when you will attempt the quiz, you will realize, and that quiz will help you to prepare you for the other units also. Right. So thank you, and I will be sharing the response sheet with your faculties. So do attempt. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable time, and we would love to have more sessions from you in the near future as well. Thank you.
Thank you.